Being an anime fan, I'm sure you've seen this conversation many times than not. Hardworking versus talent. To be honest, from a holistic view, it's a stupid conversation to be had, but there's been some other branches of talks, and in today's video, we'll go over it together. What's up guys, Gamblrr here, and in today's video, we'll be going over hardworking versus gifted in Jujutsu Kaisen. Not necessarily talent, because that makes the conversation even more brain dead, but using the word gifted actually starts up some interesting talks. So, whose strength in Jujutsu Kaisen is shaped by their hard work, and whose strength is shaped by what they are gifted? Let's find out together. Anyways, make sure to like, subscribe, and the most important of them all, enjoy the video. Alright, so let's address the elephant in the room. Gojo told us in chapter 12 that a sorcerer's skill set is about 80% innate talent, and one of the characters we'll be talking about today is literally stated to have 0 innate talent. The reason I bring this up is because it creates kind of a cool conversation when it comes to analyzing other sorcerers. Like, let's take Toto for example. What's his skill set? He has Boogie Woogie, that's innate talent, but what about Simple Domain? Is that innate talent because he was able to learn it, or is it not because he wasn't born with it? Gojo does seem to put barrier techniques on the other 20%, so it's just something to think about as we get into some of the other sorcerers. How I'll go about this is that I'll bring up a sorcerer, then give my reasoning as to whether or not I think their strength is mostly from their hard work or from what they were gifted. It'll make more sense as we keep going, so to start off, we're going with our main boy, Yuji Itadori. Yuji is gifted. Alright, hear me out because it'll make sense once I explain. It's made super clear that Yuji has no innate talent and that he lacks it because he didn't even learn about Jujutsu until his teenage years. Even after that first example in chapter 12, we got a gag in chapter 258 where Yuji tried to attribute his quick evolution in sorcery to his innate talent, but he's shut down mid-sentence by Kusakabe telling him it wasn't. And when you think about it, yeah, Yuji hasn't shown a single ability earned from just his talent, but that doesn't make him hardworking, because despite him not having abilities through talent, he also doesn't have most of his abilities through hard work, at least not to the same extent as what he's gifted. Let's think about all of the abilities Yuji has by the end of the story. He works hard to learn Curse Energy Reinforcement, that I will grant him. We watch him do his little training session with that stuffed animal while watching movies. After that, he's just gifted Divergent Fist because of how unnaturally strong his body is. We obviously find out that it has something to do with Kenjaku and how he was basically born to become a vessel for Sukuna. Then he's literally gifted Subconscious Soul Perception to beat the crap out of Mahito through Sukuna existing. Black Flash though, that I don't really know where to put that. It's stated to be luck. There's also that one statement that says the Sparks of Black chose Yuji, but the entire thing is confusing, so I won't say too much on that. To be honest, if you really want to think about it, that's not really part of his abilities. Next thing we see Yuji gain is this ridiculous stat boost for 0 reason except what he's gifted from Kenjaku, as Sukuna and Urame literally state. Then during the time skip, it's a whole bunch of BS. Yuji learns blood manipulation from getting gifted his brothers and eating them. He learns reverse curse technique because of the blood manipulation, and also his swap training with Yuta, where he just gives him the experience of using it. It's funnier because despite a month of this, Yuji is still almost incompetent with both of those techniques and has to get help from Choso with both RCT and blood manipulation. Then he learns Simple Domain and gets better durability from Kusakabe literally using it in his body. He gets Shrine because Sukuna happened to be in his body, and he uses Domain Expansion because of the barrier techniques he got from Kusakabe. You could even attribute his ability to use Shrine so well to Sukuna because of Kusakabe's statement about Yuji needing to thank Sukuna for his growth. The final nail in the coffin was Yuji trying to lie in Sukuna's face about doing hard work, and Yuta just outright says they've been cheating. Yuji has like one thing from hard work, and that's using Curse Energy Reinforcement. His entire kit is gifted to him. Something I found funny just now is the fact that Yuji has no martial arts training either. When he was walking around cooking people in junior high, it was just because of his monster physicals. I didn't mention this earlier, but his physical strength was greater than a half awakened heavenly restriction user. It's not even a talk at this point. That boy Yuji gotta give out a whole bunch of thank yous. Gojo Satoru is the next character on the list, and Gojo is hardworking. I know it sounds crazy, right? Gojo is hardworking, but Yuji is gifted. The story literally goes out of his way to say basically the opposite of it. But I disagree. Gojo may have one of the greatest talents in the verse, yes, but the kit he currently has can almost all be attributed to his hard work rather than what he's gifted. So let's start with the gifted side. Gojo was obviously gifted the Limitless technique and the 6 eyes. Those two are ridiculous gifts, and I'm not even going to argue against that. But when you're born with those two, what are you actually given? Gojo wasn't just born with blue. He had the neutral infinity, which just comes with the Limitless, and that's basically impossible to use without the 6 eyes. It's implied in chapter 16 that the 6 eyes grant Gojo a sophisticated manipulation of curse energy, and that's what allows him to use the Limitless technique. So again, he's really gifted, but outside of a good use of curse energy, what else is he gifted? He's given the ability to read Sorcerer's curse techniques. He's given the ability to read curse energy better than basically anyone else, and he's given soul perception to a certain extent. The most important thing though is his elite top 1 curse energy efficiency. That's the realest gift here. His curse technique reading is limited. We see this with the paper bag guy, where he has to see him revert one of the clones for him to realize they can't come back. There's also the fact that Gege says Gojo didn't know the specifics of Todo's curse technique, and so that's why we see him use Hollow Purple so close to him and Yuji. His curse energy reading is cool, I guess. I mean, all it really does over the average sorcerer is allow him to sense things without curse energy like Maki and Toji. So now let's get into Gojo's kit and why I think he's hardworking. Blue is something Gojo literally says is an amplification of his technique, and at 16 years old, with probably special grade status, admits that it is a difficult technique to use. Then in the same breath, dude says using a huge field of attraction requires accurate manipulation of curse energy, and even with the 6 eyes, it's still a pain to use. Blue and the use of it before Gojo's awakening is all attributed to his hard work, because he wouldn't even be able to use it, let alone make huge versions of it, if he didn't train his accuracy. Red is something Gojo had literally been training to use for an ambiguous amount of time before we see him in the 2nd year. Again, despite his 6 eyes, and might I mention his ability to use anything the first time he tries it according to Kusakabe, was unable to use reverse curse technique multiple times, and by extension, Red. This was something we knew he was trying to learn, because we even get a flashback of Gojo asking Shoko about RCT and her blabbing out nonsense to gatekeep it. In his dying moments, Gojo says directly that he put everything into trying to learn reverse curse technique, and even then he was only able to use it because he was on the verge of death. Red is literally just him using RCT or positive energy through his curse technique, so that's another thing in his kit attributed to hard work. Purple is a weird case because he just uses it as soon as he learns Red, so I don't really know which category to put it in, but he obviously wouldn't be able to use it at all if he didn't get RCT and Red through his hard work. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments though. Gojo defeats Toji, then we skip 1 year, and Gojo for that 1 year has been working his butt off, making his kit undefeatable. He has fully automatic infinity now through his hard work, and even after the year of training, he still can't distinguish poisonous objects, with him saying it'll take time to learn. He also says that he can almost always have Limitless activated, which kind of implies he eventually gets it fully. During the year of training, Gojo also says he's finally perfected minimizing the necessary hand signs for RCT or his curse technique. He also is training to use multiple reds and blues at the same time, and even after the year, he still needs to get around to his domain expansion and long distance teleportation techniques. I forgot to mention this as well, but Gojo had to train for Falling Blossom emotion as a kid, and honestly only Gege knows how many other techniques he learned and trained for as a kid in the Gojo family. Gojo's entire kit is from his hard work. There is no cheating like Yuji. There is no someone else in Gojo's body using techniques and that leading Gojo to just getting the technique. It's literally just Gojo and his work. If y'all disagree, let me know why in the comments, but it won't change the fact that Gojo is much
1 eternity later.
much more hardworking than Yuji Itadori. Yuta is next in line, and I'm not even gonna lie, this one still kind of confuses me, so my answer can change depending on the day. But today, Yuta is gifted. So let's first understand that like Gojo, Yuta is insanely talented and he's gifted many things just because he's the descendant of Michizane. The most noteworthy thing is his insane curse energy pool. Only Sukuna surpasses him, and we'll get into him in a second, but no one else even gets close to Yuta's base curse energy pool. Yuta just so happens to have it for some reason. He's not even born into any of the clans, he's just that guy. But there's some other things we'll have to get into that makes me think that the boy is one of the most gifted in the entire series. So as I was making this video, I went to go reread a little bit of JJK 0 and I realized Yuta didn't even learn curse energy. Yuta didn't even learn curse energy like Yuji did. At least Yuji had to learn to flow his curse energy slowly and had that stuffed animal training. Yuta literally has curse energy and manipulates it because of Rika, and he channels it through his sword. The reason that's important is because Gojo says it's one of the most easy to do, so he was gifted that. But the bigger reason why this is important is because Yuta and Rika have a bond. She dies to a car, Yuta curses her, and she becomes the strongest cursed spirit in the series. This is completely unprecedented. Naoya, a grade 1 before death, became stronger after becoming a cursed spirit, but he was still weaker than Rika. Rika was so strong that she threatened Gojo Satoru, at least in JJK 0. Yuta didn't get this through hard work or anything. This is literally a gift given from Gege for no reason. He just happened to gain the strongest cursed spirit in the series. With that cursed spirit, he gained infinite curse energy. I'm gonna say that again. On top of his ridiculous base curse energy pool, he gained infinite curse energy. And before he let Rika go, Yuta had the ability to copy techniques without restraint. This is how he got Inumaki's curse technique out of nowhere back in the prequel. Yuta using curse energy in general is all because of the gift of Rika. But then Rika's curse is lifted and Yuta goes all the way back to grade 4. But then we find out that Yuta not only was gifted Rika again even after the curse was lifted, but he also just takes cursed speech from Inumaki again because Inumaki just let him have his arm. We don't know what training Yuta went through in Africa. He definitely did do a lot of training though, so I won't doubt his hard work in that aspect, but tell me right now what he learned. Not a single relevant thing. In the Sendai colony, we see more stuff that Yuta just has because he's Yuta. He gets an infinite inventory of cursed tools because of the gift of Rika. He has a domain expansion because of the gift of Rika, and it still doesn't even end there. We enter Shinjuku and Yuta now has better durability through all of their cheating. He has better curse energy control because of his cheating. He has Jacob's Ladder because he's gifted it. He has Future Sight because he's gifted it. He has Shrine because he's gifted it. Man, what the hell did this guy even work for? Alright, let's be real. He did work for some of his techniques like scab manipulation, the Shikigami thing from Druve, and Genjaku's body swap. And then he's gifted Gojo's body from Gojo himself. And because of that, he gets access to even more barrier techniques. And you could even argue he could use Limitless in his own body, considering Kenjaku could use his past body's curse technique. Honestly, it's crazy in numbers, but I do think Yuta worked harder than Yuji because at least Yuta has terrible physicals and learned how to use a sword. Yuji just exists and is as strong as he is now. Sukuna is the reason I never know which place to put Yuta in. Despite Yuta just having an insane amount of gifts in numbers, the way he gets these gifts is what makes it more nuanced to me. Yuta was gifted Rika, we already established that, and the gift of Rika was ridiculous. She turned out to be the strongest cursed spirit. But the way he was gifted was through his connection with Rika, and Gojo even tells Yuta that he had a theory that love creates the most wicked curses, or whatever he said. So yes, again, Yuta was gifted Rika, but he wouldn't have gotten that gift if he didn't have a connection with Rika so strong that Jujutsu could cloud it. Y'all can let me know your thoughts on the nuances in the comments, but to get this all the way back to Sukuna, the things he has can be attributed to things he took without knowing what would happen, like Yuta cursing Rika, but also you can say it was a gift. Sukuna has 4 arms, 4 eyes, and 2 mouths. and he has this because he ate his twin brother in the womb. The thing about this is that Sukuna didn't eat him because he wanted to have a literal perfect body for Jujutsu. He did it because he had the will to survive. He just happened to be born with extra limbs from that brother, and also you can attribute his ridiculous curse energy pool to that as well. We know nothing about Sukuna's lineage, but he has twice the curse energy of Yuta. Yuta himself has a ridiculous pool of curse energy, and we can kind of justify it through him being related to Michizane. But Sukuna himself had the same curse energy pool as Yuta, and probably his brother did as well, and then he ate his brother and gained his curse energy pool on top of his. Today I would classify these as gifts, but maybe my opinion would change on another day. Sukuna is of course born with Shrine, but after that, everything else is his own work, to be honest. He has insane curse energy and efficiency through hard work. He gets domain expansion. He becomes so good with it, he becomes one of the 2 sorcerers in the entire series to create one with no barrier. He has ridiculous output, and we know that comes from training, as Yuji's output was terrible when he first got Shrine. Sukuna then learned how to become a curse object. He also learned domain amplification, learned world cut and slash through seeing Mahoraga do it. So while yes, Sukuna was gifted a body perfect for Jujutsu and an unnatural curse energy pool, Sukuna is Sukuna because of his skill in sorcery, and I think all of that can be attributed to his hard work. I'm gonna end the video right there. There are a ton of other characters I could have went into, but I don't want to spend 2,000 years of my life editing a 20+ minute video just for it to get 200 views. Anyways, what did y'all think of this video? Let me know your thoughts on if these characters were hardworking or more gifted. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.